Bacon jam is a game changer in the world of condiments. It's an often overlooked recipe that's incredibly delicious and simple to make. Whether you're adding this to your favorite sauce, spreading it on toast, or topping up a classic cheeseburger, this stuff's gonna leave you speechless. So let's make some. Bacon jam is a sweet and savory condiment made primarily from bacon, onions, sugar, and a few seasonings. It's cooked down slowly until everything's caramelized and transformed into a thick, spreadable consistency, which is why we call it a jam. There are a lot of variations on bacon jam, but today we're going to make a straightforward base version, and I'll let you know what some popular substitutions or additions are along the way. Now let's talk about our main ingredient. We're going to be using our very own Capital Thick Cut bacon. Many of you watching this video will be able to find this product at your local grocery store, but for those who can't, here are some things you want to keep in mind when shopping for bacon. First, you want to make sure your bacon has a good meat to fat ratio. Check out the side of the package and try to grab one that looks like this. We're going to be rendering this bacon down, and if it's too fatty, you won't be left with much actual bacon at the end of the cooking process. Secondly, you're going to want to pay attention to the color of the slab. If your bacon has this golden color to it, you know it's been wood smoked, whereas many of the paler, pinker bacon slabs out there likely haven't been smoked at all. Keep this in mind if you're a fan of that wood smoke flavor. Now, let's remove our bacon from the pack. This is about 350 grams of bacon, and we're going to slice it into chunks about 3/4 of an inch thick. This reduces the cooking time and helps you cook the bacon more evenly. On the stove, we're going to set up a saute pan over medium-low heat and toss in all of our bacon. A good tip is to add the bacon to a cold pan rather than a preheated one. This helps bring the bacon up to temperature smoothly and avoids any accidental searing, burning, or uneven cooking. Don't worry if you have pieces that are stuck together, as they'll all come apart naturally during the rendering process. Just keep the heat low and slowly render out the fat. If the heat is set right, you shouldn't have to keep an eye on it at all for a while. This is going to give us some time to prepare our onions. Now today I'm using yellow onions, but you could really use whatever onions you like. I've had bacon jam made with red onions, white onions, and even shallots. It's all good. We're using 2 large onions for this recipe, and the goal is to cut these down evenly so we can saute and caramelize them in the pan. It's your call if you want to chop the onions coarsely or finely. It all depends on your desired texture for your jam. I like to chop my onions really finely and even use a food processor sometimes to go extra fine, almost like a mince. I find that the smaller you chop your onions, the faster they cook and the jammier your end product will be. I like most of the texture to come from the bacon rather than the onion, but that's just a personal preference. Checking back in with our bacon, things should be looking like this. Most of the fat's rendered out. There are some brown bits on the bottom of the pan, nothing is burnt, and nothing is crispy. Now there's a bit of a funny trick when it comes to figuring out when your bacon's finished, and the secret's in the bubbles. If you prefer a softer, more tender bacon, then you want to remove it from the pan when the bubbles look like this. They almost resemble boiling water, and it's at this point that the bacon's fully cooked and the fat is fully rendered, but not yet crispy. If you let the bacon cook for another minute or two until finer foamy bubbles start to appear, you'll have perfectly crispy bacon that isn't burnt and ready to remove from the pan. Set the bacon aside and leave the rendered bacon fat in the pan. You want just enough to cover the bottom of your pan. Keep the heat on medium-low and stir in the onions until everything's well coated in the bacon fat. You'll notice that any brown bits that were on the bottom of your pan will have been immediately deglazed by the onions. You can add a pinch of table salt to the onions to help draw the moisture out of them and speed up the cooking process, but be careful not to add too much. Remember, be conservative, as you can always add more salt later, but you can't take it away once it's in there. Cook the onions down slowly. About halfway through, you can add 2 or 3 cloves of minced garlic and stir it all together. Now you can cook this down as long as you like. Relatively speaking, this is quite a light saute, but it's the way I like it. You could keep cooking these for much longer, all the way until they resemble the color of chocolate. Just keep the heat low and cook them until you're happy with the taste and texture. As you cook the onions longer, the flavors will become deeper and sweeter. Now before we move on to the rest of the ingredients, I would like to mention that we host all of our written recipes, including specific ingredient amounts and serving sizes, on our website at capitalfinemeats.ca/recipes. If you prefer to follow recipes you can count on without having to guesstimate or improvise, then give our website a try. We put a few handy tools on there like adjustable serving sizes, a shopping checklist, scalable ingredients, a cook mode that'll help you keep your phone or tablet from going to sleep while you're following along. And for those of you that prefer to have a physical copy, we've also made sure all our recipes are printer friendly. Alright, back to the cooking. Now that the onions are sauteed to your liking, we can start adding the extra ingredients. We want to enhance the natural sweetness of the onion, and we can do that by adding in some sugars. I've opted for maple syrup, but the most common alternatives are brown sugar or honey. Feel free to go with any of these or even mix and match them. We're then going to cut through some of the richness with some acidity. I decided to use some balsamic vinegar for this, but again, you could use whatever vinegar you like, and you can experiment and shape the taste to your palate. Alternatives to balsamic vinegar could be apple cider vinegar, white wine vinegar, sherry vinegar, rice vinegar. Just use whatever you have and whatever you like. You can also add a pinch of chili flakes or cayenne pepper to give your bacon jam a bit of heat. Next, we'll throw in our reserved bacon. I gave mine a rough chop so that they're just a bit larger than bacon bit size. Stir it all up and give it some time over low heat to cook together. As it cooks, the sharp vinegar acidity will slowly round off and the flavors will continue to develop. So make sure to taste it as you go and aim for the balance that makes you the happiest between sweet, salty, smoky, and acidic. If you need to add more of something, add a small amount at a time and taste it. Finally, you can optionally add some herbs. I added some dried parsley, but thyme, basil, and rosemary would also work nicely here. And there we have it, our very own homemade bacon jam. If you jar it up airtight and stick it in the fridge, it should last you 2 to 4 weeks, which is longer than you need since you're gonna eat it way faster than that anyways. This stuff is so delicious and so versatile. You can put some of this stuff on your toast or eggs in the morning, add it to a sandwich, put it in a sauce, put it on your chicken or steak, put it on a charcuterie board, or my favorite way, which is to put a huge scoop on a classic backyard barbecued cheeseburger. Okay, who's hungry? If you enjoyed this recipe and would like to see more, check out our page or our website, capitalfinemeats.ca/recipes, where we post all of our food content, written recipes, and more. If you liked our video, let us know in the comments or by clicking the like button. Thanks for watching Capital Kitchen, and I'll see you next time.